name is Patrick Graybill, and this is my name sign. Now, I want to tell you something. I think I'm a very lucky person. Because even though I'm old, I got a beard and I'm bald, I am still learning. And that is terrific. So I am a lucky person. I want to tell you about growing up. Long time ago when I was born, I had 3 deaf sisters and a deaf brother. There were 5 of us. We were all deaf. Now, we had 2 hearing sisters, too, in between there, the 3rd and the 5th. The first 2, though, the oldest sister, and then the next was hearing, and then there were 3 of them. Then 10 years later, I was born. And then I had a hearing sister and a deaf brother, and then a deaf sister. The oldest, my parents, she was deaf, and my parents, they were hearing. They didn't know what to do with a deaf child. So when my sister went to the Kansas School for the Deaf, learned sign language, and came home and taught my mother learned sign language, and she signed. But my father, he never did learn to sign. I guess, you know, men back in those days, they felt their duty was to work on the farm or whatever the work might be, to be the breadwinner, to bring in the money to support the family. And the mother stayed home and took care of the children. That's the way it was in those days. And so mother learned signing. Dad never did. Mom did, though. She could. And my sisters went to the school for the deaf. And then when I was born, well, Mom already knew what to do with me then. She had the experience, you see, with my older sister and my 2 sisters. They could sign ASL real well, and they taught me. And I learned to sign as I grew up. Then when I came into the school for the deaf at age 5, oh man, I was all ready to go. Whoops. But this was not like it was at home, where everybody signed. We sat around the dinner table, my sisters and my brother. We all signed away, and Mother and Dad, my 2 hearing sisters, they would be talking. And I would say, well, what are you talking about? And so Mother would then sign to me, and I'd say, oh, yeah, I see. And our sisters, they could sign, too. So when I came into the school for the deaf, though, the teachers didn't sign. They were not skilled at it. They taught speech and lip reading. They said that was what's important. When you go into the hearing world, you got to be able to speak well like everybody else. And I said, oh, I had to put up with it, but I didn't enjoy it. My favorite thing, though, was to be in the dormitory. That's what I really liked, because in there, everybody was deaf. My friends, my classmates, we were all there. And I'll tell you something. 10% of those people there had deaf parents or deaf relatives, brothers and sisters, as I did. And we taught the 90% who had hearing parents and who grew up not knowing any sign language. We taught them. 10% taught that 90% how to sign, and they learned and they learned and they learned. And the best teachers I had as I was growing up were my friends and my classmates there in that dormitory, learning so much from each other. Whether it was right or wrong, I don't know. But we were learning a lot. In school, well, we had to put up with that. But I want to tell you, the best teacher, the finest teacher I had was a deaf woman named Mrs. Sayers. And this was her name sign. Now, she was such a proud woman. She could sign so beautifully. Every day she'd get up on the stage and she would tell a story, or she might sign a poem. And I would sit entranced at the beauty of her signing, how skillful she was. I wanted to be like that when I grew up. I wanted to be able to sign the way Mrs. Sayers did. Now, that was one thing. Now, I also had a wonderful deaf sister. She was a sophomore in the school when I was, I guess, 5. And I remember going to a play, sitting in the audience. My sister was in this school play. The title of the play was Huckleberry Finn. Now, there were lots and lots of girls in this play, and only a few boys. There weren't enough. The play had many, many parts for men, so what they had to do was have, my sister had to become a man, makeup all over her. And I remember watching the stage, and there was a bed on the stage, and I saw to my amazement my sister underneath with Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. There they were lying all together underneath there, and I said, "Oh, that's terrific." Oh, well, it wasn't following the story exactly, but oh, I loved the way she was doing it. And I said, when I grow up, I want to be an actor. Now, remember, with Mrs. Sayers and her signing was so beautiful, and she was a teacher, and I wanted to be like her when I grew up, a teacher. Now, there was my sister acting, and I wanted to be like her. I wanted to be an actor when I grew up, so there were two things I wanted to be. And my friends there at school, I cherished the sign language from all of them. They were an influence too. But my mother, she was hearing, but she was a good teacher. And that was because before she was married, she was a teacher herself. And then when she got married and had all these 7 children, she stopped teaching. But she wasn't just idle at home. When I would go home, Mother always created games for us, for my brothers and sisters to play. All kinds of, there was hide and seek, hide and go seek, and then there was all kinds of games like tag. We'd play that, and I remember when I was 10, I was bored once, nothing to do, so I said, "Mama, I want a new game." And Mother was very busy. She was cooking, baking a cake, and she said, "Wait a minute, now you play one of the old games. Go away now, play one." I said, no, I want a new game, and I want it now." And so Mother thought I was 10 and I was spoiled, and I almost threw a little tantrum there. So Mother said, "Okay, come here. So I followed her to see what was going on. We went into the living room, and she took out a book. The title of the book is Beautiful Joe. So I opened it and looked at it. And the first sentence was, "My name is Beautiful Joe, and I am a cur." A cur? Well, I didn't know what a cur was. I didn't know this word at all. I said, "Mom, what's a cur?" And so Mother took out the dictionary, and she taught me how to use the dictionary. She said, "Now you see A, all right, and then you go from there to the B's, and then to the C's, and then looking through the C's until you see the word cur." So what does it mean? I thought, what does it mean? And it meant an ugly dog. And then it dawned on me. My name is Beautiful Joe, and I'm a cur. So I substitute that cur for ugly dog. Oh, I understood this game. So I read some more and learned these new words and looked them up in the dictionary. And it was a new game. It was like a puzzle, learning all these new words. And so I became a bookworm. I loved to read. I just devoured them. And writing English, whenever I wrote English, Mother would correct it, but not with all these red marks and crosses. Mother would just say, she'd explain very gently. It wasn't this in school where just the page would be covered with red ink, and I got very depressed and discouraged. So there was Mrs. Sayers, my teacher, all my friends, and all this. As I was growing up, I had just a wonderful time. Then when I got into high school, I met another wonderful person whom I imitated. Now, he wasn't yet a teacher. He was studying to become a teacher. He was a hearing man. And he didn't like the way a lot of people would look upon deaf people with a negative attitude, saying they couldn't learn anything. So he wanted to teach Shakespeare. I said, "Oh, no, we can't do that. That's too hard." He says, "No, I know you can." I says, "Really? Okay, fine." So we took Romeo and Juliet. And I was a sophomore. And boy, these huge English words were going to be a lot harder than in the past. But I remembered the dictionary, looking up the meaning of the words. So it came to a word like fortnight. So I thought, well, it had something to do with night. I didn't know. I looked it up in the dictionary, and what it meant was 2 weeks. Oh, 2 weeks. So I learned